Welcome everyone to the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series season, race 31 of 36 at Talladega. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Qualifying underway. It just began here in Alabama. Seth Wansing, one of the first drivers out at the moment. It's Wansing, Kerr, Painter, and Cody Pennell. First four cars out on track at the moment. Everyone on their out laps right now, getting ready for the first flying laps here in qualifying. Everyone has 10 minutes to set a qualifying lap time. Those that race their way in from the pre-race shootout will not be permitted to qualify for this event. Wansing starts his first lap, Kerr right behind, then Painter, then Pennell in that order. Davey Houck, Bradley Wright, Tristan Catania, and James Kerr, all also on track. Again, we're watching Seth Wansing. He is on your screen at the moment, the number 9 for Team Sideswipe. Two-time series champion, trying to go for 3 in a row. We'll see what his first lap looks like. Holding the bottom line his first time lap. Should be a really competitive time. Seems super stable there on the inside lane. First lap in the books. Seth Wansing will go top of the board, 53.86. Kerr beats him with a 53.76. And Dustin Painter goes second. Can Wansing respond and put a better time on the board? Second lap in the books for Seth Wansing, and it was not faster. Thomas Andrews starting his first lap here. Actually, we'll switch to Joshua Gaiman here. Gaiman's first lap in the books was a 54.33 lap time. Toby Estes starting his first, or finishing his first lap, I believe. No, he's starting his first lap. $11 drivers set lap times so far. Estes went fourth fastest. Tom Sears goes fifth fastest. Chimkowski on a lap here will join this group of 15. Chimkowski goes second fastest. And he still got a lap. Patrick Allen, Tommy Withers, Jacob Blankenship, Jason Alexander have elected not to qualify in this race. Mark Brewster, Miles Nelson, and Patrick Allen are not permitted to qualify for this event. Alrighty. 16th qualify. It looks like Jason Alexander might be getting ready to qualify here. Hardy's number 53 out on track. Alexander about to start his first lap. With less than 2 minutes to go in qualifying. He's only going to get one lap, it looks like. But that may be the only lap he needs. Blankenship, Withers electing to start from the back of the field. With some work to do to get through this 22-car field tonight. See if Alexander can finish this lap. He's 17th on the board. He's at a 54.5 on his first lap. See if this second lap can be any better. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna have the time to finish it. 5 seconds before the checkered flag comes out. I believe that's gonna do it. Yeah, he won't be allowed to finish it. Alrighty. Now it's time to get ready to go here in Talladega. Here's the information on today's race. Talladega Superspeedway. Race 31 of 36. 6 races to go, including tonight. It's the second race in the round of 12. 80 degrees, the air temp. 105, the track temp. It's going to be a little bit sticky. Drivers will be a little bit on the loose side the further up the track they go. Will be very sensitive as far as the bump drafting goes. 8-mile-an-hour winds. There'll be crosswinds in 1 and 2. And 3 and 4. And then tailwind or headwind in the backstretch and tailwind down the front straightaway. Again, 6 races to go. This is the second race in the round of 12. 11 playoff drivers are present. Ryan Pennell, the only driver not present in this event, but still 1 race left for him to try to get himself into the round of 8. James Kerr and Alex Shimkowski line up on the front row of the grid. Kerr for Team Outlaw, Shimkowski for Team Sideswipe. Thomas Andrews, the highest qualifying driver in the playoffs currently in the round of 12. He'll be alongside Davey Houck, who makes his return after several weeks away from action. Toby Estes and Tom Sears line up in row number 3. Then Bradley Wright and Dustin Painter in row 4. So you see Team Outlaw drivers lined up in rows 3 and 4, and then Bluegrass Bandit drivers lined up in 3 and 4 on the inside lane. Seth Wanzi and Cody Pennell share row 5. It's an all-team sideswipe. Row 5. Jeremy Breo and Brynn Roberts in row number 6. As everyone begins rolling. As you go further down the grid, you have Catania and Gaiman in row 7. Row 8, John Smeal and Jonathan Homebrink. Jason Alexander and Jacob Blankenship in row 9. Row 10, Miles Nelson and Donald Ray. Tommy Withers and Patrick Allen in row number 11. "22 cars will be present for tonight's event. Donald Ray will be starting and parking for this race, scoring points. I believe a driver did the same thing last week, if I'm not mistaken. 22 cars in the night's race. Almost showtime here in Talladega. The second race in the round of 12 will be underway here shortly. It's James Kerr, Alex Shimkowski on the front row. Houck and Andrews, row 2. Sears and Estes, row 3. Going through the Geico restart zone. Green flag in the air. The Alabama 250 is underway. We're plate racing in Talladega. Cars doing a good job getting out of the way early on, that they don't want to be in trouble. See Donald Ray dropping out of the way. Committing the start and park here. Everyone else, have at it. Stage 1 is 30 laps. For the playoffs, it matters. It's a close race to the top. Sears, the defending winner from all the way back in June. He won the Saturday Night Showdown race last night. Can he make it a treble? He's leading the outside line. Inside line, it's 5 cars, single file. Shimkowski, Houck, James Kerr, Thomas Andrews, Toby Estes. In that inside row ahead of the side-by-side battle between Bradley Wright and Tom Sears. It's Sears, Painter, and Wanzing on the outside lane as they try to make something happen. Most of the field wanting to stay on the bottom, trying to stay safe at the moment. We saw this in the real-life NASCAR race earlier today. Everyone trying to take it calm and easy these first several laps. Believe that was Thomas Andrews that sort of gave Tom Sears the draft there. It's a matter of if Tom Sears is going to help him here. Davey Houck moves to the outside. A giant gap on the inside between Jimkowski and Kerr. 3 wide, a little further back. That is, I believe, that was Josh Gaiman and Jonathan Homebrink. Homebrink thought better of it, so Gaiman will fall backwards. He'll fall to the back of the second lane here. As Davey Houck takes the lead, but for how long? The Outlaw squad are going to stay together. 3 on the outside lane. It's Andrews, Sears, and Painter. And they're going to stick together. Wanzing to the in 4th place. He'll stick with Painter so far at the moment. Catania got really loose. That 48 drifted all the way up to the wall, and that was for Homebrink. And then you have the Aflac machine. That is the 00 Miles Nelson. Trying to make his presence known. Miles Nelson currently has no help. And he will continue to not have any help as John Smeal abandoned him there on the outside lane. And now they'll hang Homebrink out the dry. Catania moves down. Davey Houck trying to move back to the front of the field. He led coming to the white flag back in June. It ended up not being on the podium. Him and Seth Wanzing both felt the heartbreak of not winning here back on Father's Day weekend. Both of them, once again, top 5 for both. Wanzing in 5th, Houck in 4th. Wanzing's on the inside lane, Houck's on the outside lane. Houck leading the outside lane, that blue number 21. Shimkowski and Breo behind the 21. As they try to rally a run on the outside lane. Andrews will stick with his teammates here as it goes for the tri-oval to complete lap number 5. This has a potential of being a very, very quick race. Houck led that lap. A little bit of an advantage on the outside lane at the moment. They seem to carry just a little bit more momentum than those on the inside lane. But there will be shuffling because you see team sideswipe teammates, Breo and Jimkowski, Kerr as well, also in the outside lane. And then it's a bit of a combobulation of cars. Bluegrass Bandits, Prophecy Racing, sort of all mixed in on that outside lane. Team Outlaw so far pretty well and defined on the agenda so far. Shimkowski slotted into the inside. So did Breo. They slotted in front of the Team Outlaw trio. Davey Houck stays on the outside. He's going to work with Toby Estes here and Tristan Catania, the 48 machine, 3rd in line up top. Painter's going to drop back here. He's dropped below the yellow line. That's the signal that he is dropping out of line to get out of harm's way. He does not like how the side drafting's begun to sort of intensify in the top 8. So he'll drop back, and he'll start the move back front when necessary. 20 cars in this group. Excuse me, 17 cars in this group. Wright, Withers, Brewster, and Allen have fallen off the base on array. The Sarton Park participant for this week, scoring points to hopefully try to make something happen in the round of 12 elimination race next week at the Charlotte Roval. Davey Houck, Toby Estes sitting 1-2 at the moment, the 21 and the 19. Jonathan Homebrake on the outside lane as well, staying 1-2-3. It's a Ford leading, 2 Toyotas, and another Ford just dropped to the bottom. That is John Smeal, who was eliminated in the round of 16. Trying to race it through. Houck leads this lap as we start lap number 9. Miles Nelson, the 00, sitting in the 4th spot. He's up 15 spots from where he started. Raced his way in to the pre-qualifying race. So far, doing so good. Jason Alexander sitting 5th, Wanzing 6th, Breo 7th, Andrews in 8th at the moment as they roll down the back. Alexander trying to pull the charge on the inside lane, keeping down to 53. Miles Nelson will jump down to try to take advantage of it. Miles Nelson wants to go to the front in the 00 Toyota. Can the rookie do it? Houck went to block him. Miles needs to make sure he doesn't get too impatient. Still only lap 10. Wanzing 3rd in line on the inside lane. It's 3 wide. Look at Catania and Sears go on the outside lane. They're riding the fence as they make it 3 wide for the race lead. Homebrake moves to the outside lane, but advantage to the middle. Estes tried to go to the inside, but Nelson was still there, so Houck holds on to the race lead. And Estes now in what they call the sucker hole. He's going to fall backwards pretty quickly here. Not a fun time if you're in the middle and on your own and you're just watching the entire field blaze by. If it happens too many times, it can be almost deflating. Take a blanket chip, the regular season champion, sitting right now in 16th at the tail end of this line, right in front of Dustin Painter and right behind Thomas Andrews. To kind of put in perspective how crazy it is, we're actually going to go on board the 213 somewhere machine of Tom Sears. We're going to ride on board the top of his car. We're going to go onto the roof cam of Tom Sears. He won this race back in June. He won last night in the Saturday Night Showdown event. You see he's following Catania on the 48. You see Wanzing there in the 9 in the middle. Looks like they are 2 wide at the moment. Catania getting a run. Little bit of a block there by, I believe that's John Smeal. No, that's Jeremy Breo, excuse me. And Sears goes to the bottom. Straight to the inside. Breo covers it off. Calculated decision making right there, but both Breo and Sears. Sears chopped to the bottom, got to the yellow line. Breo was able to cover it off without the inside lane losing momentum. That's the important thing. As now Sears going to go for the race lead. He's going to get it at the line. Sears leads that lap. Didn't win the stage. Stage is still 16 laps to go. But that's how you go from 11th to 1st in a lap here at Talladega. And Breo kind of got left hanging out to dry. He dropped all the way down to 8th. as a result of that. Everyone kind of followed Lurkin Tom straight to the front of the field. And now Hohenbrink wants a piece of it. That's Hohenbrink and Miles Nelson. Patrick Allen in danger of going a lap down. He will go a lap down at this rate. Side-by-side racing. 3 wide. Hohenbrink falling down the middle. Breo leads. And that was almost a disaster. Alexander cut that really close with Davey Houck. Patrick Allen on the outside lane, going a lap down. Withers, Brewster, and Wright, they're all working together here. We'll take a look at them, as they say, 2 by 2 at the moment. This is that secondary group, only 3 cars, half a lap behind. Again, Withers, Brewster, and Wright, 18th, 19th, and 20th at the moment. Breo leads the front of this field. Davey Houck with a pretty good run with help of Seth Wansing, not enough to lead that lap. Noah Belleville not in this race, and side draft is a massive on these cars. Creates huge runs. With the new package, you can shove the daylights out of somebody all the way to the front of the field. We've seen that a couple times so far today. 3 wide for the race lead. That's Gaiman up top. Estes will follow him. Does Smeal follow suit? In that 44 machine, he will not. He'll stay in the middle. Wansing trying to lead a lap here. Houck on the outside. Wansing in the inside. As once again, Gaiman drops backwards. Houck led that lap at the line. But it's a little bit more spaced out on the outside lane. They need to get a little bit closer together now to try to get Davey clear of Wansing in the 9. Outside lane hooked up. First 3 cars are hooked up. That is Houck, Hohenbrink, and I believe that's Shimkowski. Yeah, it is Shimkowski, the 99. Smeal on the outside as well, the 44. And then you look at that is Estes and then Gaiman up on the outside lane now, as everyone's mostly down to the bottom now. Smeal tried the side draft. I believe that was his teammate Breo. 2 team sideswept cars there. 4 of them in this picture, really. Wansing, Breo, Shimkowski, Smeal. Those are all team sideswept cars. Hohenbrink goes to the outside, but he's not going to have anyone to help him. Does he need the help, though? Almost pulling himself to the race lead as it is. Here comes the cavalry on the outside lane. That's Shimkowski and Smeal leading the cavalry on the outside, but Hohenbrink will lose the top 3 here. As we begin lap 20, once we get through the dogleg in the front straightaway. Houck, Wansing, Breo top 3, Alexander 4th. See if we can go on board with somebody here. See if we can get a good idea of exactly how much or how little you actually have to really mess with the steering wheel here in these cars. We'll go on board the rookie. We'll go on board Miles Nelson, that 00 machine. Give him a little bit of appreciation. We'll go on the robot here. Miles Nelson on board the 00 machine. Making his second start of the season. See how planted that steering wheel is? Just very minor movements in that reel. Whoa, this pit stops coming in. Pit stops. I was like, what's with all the slowdown here? And he pit with the race leaders. All of them came in. Nelson trying to make it to his pit stall. And he'll do so. Teammates working together. Blankenship and Roberts trying to catch up to the top three. But pit stops have begun. Roberts and Blankenship have caught up. And they're also going to come down pit lane here. We'll ride on board with Blankenship. Can he keep it from speeding? Easily done. Had it down to 53. Nelson fifth out of the pit lane here. That's Homebrake in front of him. Tom Sears behind him. See the gap to the cars behind. There's Tom Sears right there. You know, see everyone kind of go by the cars exiting pit lane. Right on board with Miles Nelson, the rookie in 2022, making his second start here in Talladega. He's on the outside lane. It's Tom Sears in front of him. Again, the outside lane just not getting anything going so far. You see how much Miles Nelson is going off the throttle here as they set single file at the moment. A little bit of a zoom out on the picture here. Three pretty well undefined packs here. Jason Alexander down pit lane. He'll go a lap down, at least. This is largely the race to the end of stage 1 on lap 30. Top 8 in this lead pack. Then it's a battle between 9th and 10th in the second pack of the field. Looking a little further back, this is the battle for the 9th and 10th spots for stage 1 points. Everyone pretty well sitting content. It may get wild here in the next couple laps. It's Wansing, Gaiman, Breo at the front of the field. Alexander, the first car, off the lead lap. We'll see him right there on the apron there. He's going to go 2 laps down. Outside lane starting to go. Wansing trying to play both lanes. That's his teammate Breo on the outside lane. Breo got a little bit of a bad bump from Sears, but they checked up just enough. They moved to the bottom. Sears, home brake on the top lane. Miles Nelson on the top lane as well, the 0-0. Brynn Roberts, Jacob Blankenship at the very tail of this 8-car group. Five cars in the inside lane, 3 cars in the outside lane. But keep an eye, they're running very high up. They're avoiding getting the side draft. They're avoiding being side drafted is the big thing. 3-car momentum can really make something happen on the outside lane as long as you're not being side drafted. You can't get too close to the inside lane. Otherwise, that side draft will just take the momentum away. Almost like attaching the parachute to the back of one of these cars. 3 to go in stage 1. It's Sears and Wansing leading the 2 lines. Sears the outside lane, Wansing on the bottom. Second line. A little bit further back. They're all in a line. They're not going to be able to catch up, so they might start racing each other for the last two stage 1 points playing positions. Points in stages only go to the top 10. 10 points for the winner of stage 1, 1 point for 10th. Now it's 3 cars to the inside, 5 cars to the outside. Sears takes the lead. Can he lead across the line? He will. Tom Sears leads. 2 to go in stage 1. So far, so good. Sears, home brake, Nelson, first 3 on the outside lane. How much do they shuffle? Blankenship goes to the bottom. Nelson goes to the bottom. Nelson goes for the race lead here. Keep an eye on the 0-0. 2 races in, he's going for his first stage win. Coming to the white flag in stage 1. Oh, car's in the wall. That's Breo and home brake. Keep it together. Don't lose this pack. Pretty well could be safe and covered. They're still in the draft, so they've got a chance. Miles Nelson leads. Then it's Blankenship. And I believe that's Brynn Roberts, third in line. It is. Now it's Roberts and Nelson on the inside lane. Blankenship stuffed to the middle. Roberts will go and help him. Everyone avoiding the inside lane. Nelson will drop backwards. It's Sears and Gaiman leading. This tandem at 2. Wansing in 3rd. Does Gaiman take a play for the lead? Sears gave at the bottom. Who's going to win stage 1? Coming to the line. Tom Sears wins. Gaiman spins. Sears took stage 1. I don't know if it was Blankenship or Wanzing who finished second. We'll see how they reorder once they're under caution here. But it very well could have been Blankenship. Gaiman got turned around. They went 4 wide across the line. And Contact spun the 61. Looks like John Smeal and Davey Howe took 9th and 10th to round out the Stage 1 point scores. Everyone sat nice and pretty for the first 28 laps, and then when the points mattered, they kind of put it all out there. We'll see that again in Stage 2. Tom Sears, add that to his stage win collection. He is effectively the Ryan Blaney of the A² series. Only Tom Sears has a race win. Everyone comes down pit lane. They're going to top up with fuel. I believe Blankenship and Roberts, what kind of helped them out is they took no tires at all. Because they jumped through the field to be in position there. While they go through pit stops, we're going to see if we can take another look at that Stage 1 finish. Because that was pretty phenomenal. Alrighty, so here's the coming to the line for Stage 1. It's Gaiman and Sears, you see side by side there, coming to the line. And the run that both Wanzing and Blankenship get, it's close. I don't know if you give Gaiman second for Stage 1 or not. We'll see it. We'll slow it down here. You could almost say that our Gaiman got second there in Stage 1. That's a close one. And obviously he got spun around. He came off the nose of Roberts there. Roberts was mostly just trying to follow his teammate. And then obviously you see Josh Gaiman. I believe there's contact with Hohenbrink here. All the cars coming out of pit lane here. We'll catch up with them in a second. Oh, that code contact with Hohenbrink. But everyone avoided hitting the wall here. Hohenbrink with a really good 360 and save. As Gaiman got forced right back up the track. You see his car not 100%. You can tell the toe angle on that right front. Not the best it's ever been. But stage winner, Tom Sears. Breo shouldn't inherit the race lead here. Then it's going to be Kerr, Wanzing, Nelson, Gaiman, Jemkowski, Smeal, Hauk, Estes, and Catania top 10. Patrick Allen trying to get one of his laps back here. Jason Alexander, 1 lap down. Allen, 2 laps down, trying to get 1 lap back here to be 1 lap down for the start of stage number 2. With the way everyone's beginning to double up, I believe we're about to go 1 to green this time to start stage number 2. "21 cars still running. 22 took the green flag. Donald Ray starting park to this event. Will try to make his chances a little bit better at the Charlotte Roval to get into the round of 8. Patrick Allen, Jason Alexander, 1 lap down. There's Patrick Allen getting the wave around. It's 2 by 2 for everyone else. 74 and 75 lead the way. These two have a bit of a history. Second race of the season. It was Kerr and Breo battling for the race win at Fontana. Kerr got his first win in the series, his only win so far in the series, in that race. In what was a crazy last lap turn of events. It was one of the more intense finishes we've seen this season. And they'll lead the field to green to start stage 2 here. Kerr eliminated in the round of 16. Breo trying to move on to the round of 8. Ten playoffs drivers still racing here this evening. Breo in first, Wanzing in third. And Don Ray in the chat, wish I could be there helping my teammates, but family time comes first, absolutely. Enjoy your vacation, man. The teammates so far doing so good. They worked well early on, and Tom Sears won stage 1. We'll see what your team can do here in stage number 2. Kerr leading the team's efforts so far on this restart. This is Ryan Pinnell and Donald Ray. '21 car still running. Pace car will pull into pit lane. It's Breo, Kerr, Wanzing, Nelson, Gaiman, Jankowski, Smeal, and Hauk in the top 8. Estes Catani round out the top 10. Green flag is out through the restart zone, and a really good restart. Kerr was up a gear. He was in way too high of a gear. Very slow restart by the 75. All of us have been there at some point where you're just not in the right gear to do the restart. For Kerr, it's just good that he was in a tall gear and not first gear. That would have been ugly. But it's let the inside line just get a rocket of a restart here. Gaiman's going to fall back. He tried making the outside line work, but he had no help. Once again, the 61 will fall backwards. Breo, Wanzing, Smeal inside. 1, 2, 3 for team sideswipe. Before you deal with Nelson and Estes, who are side by side for the 4th position. Nelson will drop backwards in that Toyota. Toyota's battling 4th and 5th. Ford out in front. Does anyone help the newcomer, Miles Nelson? He's trying to side draft. Side drafting Jankowski at the moment. Really good job by Breo holding on to this race lead. He's got teammates in tow now. They can really do something here. Looking further on back. There's Catania, outside lane. Jankowski leading this outside lane now. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4 for a brief second. Jankowski, however, wants the lead. He's here to play spoiler. Doesn't matter who he's spoiling. Catania in third. Jankowski leads that lap. Nelson going to go for the race lead. Thought about sliding to the inside of Jankowski, but instead he'll let the team sideswipe teammates. They will get 4 in the inside line, which is dangerous. But they've got to get synchronized here. Breo's got to go from leading to pushing, and that mindset needs to switch on a dime. Oftentimes, mentally, you're there quicker than your car is. So that's got to be in sync. You see Dustin Painter back in the top 10. Miles Nelson will get dispatched. He'll be moved to the outside lane. Catania leads. But it's 3 wide for the race lead. There's Thomas Andrews battling for it in the middle. Pretty crazy as everyone tries to get in position here. Again, pit stops every 20 laps. So we'll have a pit stop on lap 54. That's about when the pit stop opens. So if things continue as they are, then we're going to have at least 1 pit stop every stage under green. Briley Wright up to second. Brynn Roberts up to third. Briley Wright goes for the race lead. Andrews couldn't chop him off. Andrews just got to stay on the course, but Briley Wright will try to lead a lap here. Bradley Wright, one of the drivers that locked into the round of 16 in the playoffs without winning a race. Wright and Withers, the two drivers in the top 12 in points to have not won a race this season. And a really good points day for Bradley Wright. Could be just what the doctor orders going into one of the more challenging road courses on the schedule at Charlotte for the Roval next week. Andrews still leads. Roberts goes very high on the outside lane. Dustin Painter goes to help his teammate. But Roberts does have help in Miles Nelson. Nelson making sure that everyone knows his name. Contact Roberts and Painter. Nelson, bad bump by Nelson. Put door to door, Roberts and Painter. Andrews made sure that he could play both lines. He stood there on the dotted line and waited to see which line was going to come at him first. He blocks the outside lane. Does he stay on the outside lane? Looks like he will. Outside tries to move around him. Brent Roberts goes. Roberts shuts the door on Painter. Stage 1 was calm and collected. Stage 2's not. Nelson leads. He wants to lead more than just one lap at a time. Good luck with that. Pretty sure Painter's not appreciating not only being doored, but now having the door shut up on him. And the drivers meeting, they said, hey, be careful with your blocking early. It's very easy to get absolutely decked later on. A lot of drivers here will not take kindly to being chop blocked too many times like that. Painter's going to stick with him at the moment because there's no reason for him to move. Yeah, there you go. Teammates there for Team Outlaw. Miles going to try. Painter. Oh, that's almost very bad. Painter let off a little bit. Painter was being nice. He's not going to be nice in Stage 3 if he keeps doing that. Having seen Dustin Painter race, not only in this series, but also in the Indy Arc Series on Wednesday nights, Painter, there's a lot of bend to Dustin Painter, but there's a time where he's going to have to stand his ground. Miles Nelson's going to figure that out the hard way if he keeps pressing. Painter, once again, goes to the outside lane. Everyone's abandoning Nelson right now for the middle stanza. Everyone moves back to the bottom. Bit of musical chairs and figuring out where your track position is going to be, but the outside lane is where you're going to want to be if you're making a move. Right now, Nelson leads over Catania. Nelson moves to the outside lane. He keeps going, and Painter's like, yeah, I'm not helping you. Almost completely turned Nelson. Nelson had enough wherewithal to move out of the way. But Painter's like, I'm done. Can't really blame him. Catania doesn't really want to stay behind him either. Nelson trying really aggressively to block way too much, knowing there's a pit stop in 10 laps. Needs to be careful. He'll drop the fourth here. It's Painter, Andrews, White. Nelson, once again, going to try to go for the race lead. Drops to the bottom. Inside lane has a lot of cars in it. Do they want Miles Nelson to lead that inside lane? Catania is going to go with him, but how many cars are going to stay that way? It's about 6 cars in the outside lane. All the others on the bottom. Estes moves to the outside lane. Think he's had enough. A lot of the lane jockeying people are not pretty fond of right now, especially this early in the race. We haven't even gotten to the halfway point yet. Halfway's on lap 47. Alexander slots in front of the 00. 3 wide, a little bit further back. That's Hohenbrink and Wanzing. Wanzing's going to try to thread the needle between the two. Believe that's Smeal that drops at the bottom. Indeed it is the 44 Smeal. A little bit of a new paint scheme for Smeal, more of an alteration in color. running pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is the 2nd of October. Breast Cancer Awareness Month goes all throughout the month of October. Expecting a lot more drivers will have some pink on their cars in the next coming races at both at Charlotte and going into the round of 8. Painter, Andrews, Wright, still leading. And it's via that outside lane. Nelson got shuffled out of the top 10 and out of the bottom lane. Inside line beginning to take shape. Davey Houck trying to lead that inside lane. Wanzing in tow. It's Team Outlaw and the Bluegrass Bandits on the outside lane. 2 of the Outlaw cars, and Painter and Andrews, and then you have 2 of the Bluegrass Bandits machines, and Wright and Estes on the outside. Top 4 on that lane. Lane number 3 beginning to form. It's the 1MA Racing boys. It's Blankenship and Roberts. And Alexander's going to follow them, the Ford boys, up in the top lane. They want to go for the race lead. Not sure why you're racing this hard with a pit stop still to go. But, hey, points are points. And that outside lane actually formed up really well. Painter's going to block it. Whoa, trouble! That is trouble. Bradley Wright involved. Hard contact inside lane. Nelson involved. I believe that was Catania. Obviously, Bradley Wright got turned around. Alexander was the one that got turned in front of. And I believe that's Humbrink. It is the 20 of Humbrink. Caution is out. The first one for contact on lap 46. So caution number 1 for contact, excuse me, caution number 2 overall will make this a dash to the finish for stage 2. Stage 2 ends on lap 60. So you're going to take the time here to figure out what all happened here. We know Bradley Wright was involved, but we're going to take a closer look at it. So Bradley Wright in the middle of your screen, the M&M's Toyota Camry. He's right behind Thomas Andrews, and right ahead of his teammate Toby Estes. You have the orange and blue, the Hardee's machine of Jason Alexander on the outside lane, 4th car in that line. So they're the 2 where this accident kind of epicenters. Looks like just a little bit of wobbling there. See if we can go to a blimp cam here. It's a bit too far away now. Alright, there we go. This is a good camera. Chopper camera. It looks like there's a little bit of wobbling between Wright and because Wright's in between Jimkowski and Blankenship. Blankenship gets out of here pretty safely. We'll go slow here. Oh, Andrews wobbles first. And Bradley has to try to check out of it and just wobble, wobble, wobble. A little bit of net code, then actual contact forces the 18 and the 53. Nothing Catania can do. Estes with a really good save. Really, really good save. Because there's Estes. He had an amazing save. And these two hit the wall pretty hard. And then Homebrink kind of gets a double dose because Nelson's spinning sideways. And gets pushed right back into the wall by Nelson as Nelson comes to a stop on the inside as well. I'm gonna ride on board. We're actually gonna ride on board with Miles Nelson here. Gonna go on the roll bar cam with Miles Nelson. And he tries to check up. I think he got tagged in that. We'll go to Homebrink here. We'll see if Homebrink kind of checked into Nelson here. Oh yeah, he just locked the brakes trying to slow down, tagged the wall, and then gets bounced again. I'm going to look on board with Zimkowski here. We're actually going to look at the rear camera here and watch it all kind of develop around him. You see all of it just kind of fan out. And then lastly, we'll go on board with Jason Alexander. Davey Houck, your race leader here. 1 to go until the green flag. It's going to be an 11-lap shootout to end stage 2. Wanzing on the outside, then Jimkowski and Sears in row 2. Keep it on the 14. He won stage 1. Kenny wins stage 2. Row 3. Thomas Andrews, Josh Gaiman are in row 3, 5th and 6th there. Then you have Toby Estes and James Kerr, row 4. Row 5, it's going to be, it looks like, Jonathan Homebrink and Miles Nelson. So 2 of the cars involved in that caution will end up in the top 10 on this restart here as you're ready to go. We're past the halfway point. So it's showtime. Alrighty, pace car is in through the Geico restart zone. And away we go. 11 laps till the end of stage 2. That's what they're racing for. Wanting and Sears outside. Houck and Jimkowski on the bottom. Still level. Out of turn 4, even Stevens between Wansing and Hauk. Wansing beginning to get that advantage. 3 cars. Really nose to tail in that lead group on the outside lane. Wansing leads this lap. 10 to go in stage 2. Inside line's got the most power. Most cars are in it. We saw how crazy the finish for stage 1 was. Now we've got all the cars in line for stage 2. 20 cars on the lead lap. Alexander, the only car not on lead lap because he was involved in that last yellow. So Patrick Allen got his lap back. He's back on the lead lap here, trying to get into the top 10 if he can. See if we can go on board. We'll go on board with Jeremy Brayo here. See how he can get to the front. In the number 74, the Taco Bell machine. See if he can live Mas. Sitting in 9th at the moment on the outside lane. Miles Nelson in front. Shimkowski and Hauk on the bottom to the left. It's kind of pertinent to this. Why prefer the outside line to the inside lane? On the outside lane, you're able to push at speed more. You're letting off less. It's a little bit easier to control. On the inside lane, you're checking up a little bit more. It creates a little bit more of an accordion effect. More drivers will go down there, but they won't stay there. You're going to want to have to kind of pop up to the top lane if you're trying to try to get some positions here, because that's where the momentum largely lies. You spend more time on throttle here. As we hear Brayo, we'll actually pull the speedometer up for the 74 here. 190 out of the corner. 92. Checks up a little bit because he sees Nelson check up a little bit. 93, 194. Almost 195 entering turn number 3. And these are restrictor plated cars. They are not allowed to reach a certain speed. Sort of horsepower cap. These are capped to 500, I believe, 25 horsepower. But they still have a lot of get up and go. So Brayo, again, holding station at the moment. Not really gaining a whole lot. He's sort of just kind of stuck there. We'll take a look here. It's a little bit easier to tell what the speed looks like at the front of the field. Wansing's full throttle all the way through. We'll see how much he can gain. 192 there. He's going to largely stay capped at 192. But it's easy to tell that the inside lane had a little bit more gain to it. They had a little bit more gamesmanship here. That was James Kerr going to the front of the field. And James Kerr has cleared the outside lane. He could play both lanes if he wanted to, but there's no point in doing that just yet, coming to 6 to go in stage 2. Kerr leads that lap. And a massive blink. Had to have scared Davey Hauk a little bit mindless there. Davey just has to kind of keep his foot stuck in the floor. Hope for the best. Shimkowski sitting in 3rd. Hauk moves to the outside lane, which is a bit bold, because the outside lane's been struggling a little bit. But I guess it worked. It took the momentum out of the inside lane, but then he moved right back to the bottom, and I'm not sure why he did that, because they just gave Wansing the lead. And now Sears going to go for the race lead. Wansing didn't want to give up that momentum. Miles Nelson will make it 3 wide for the race lead. Nelson to the lead. 5 to go in stage 2. But passes by the boatload so far as Sears goes to the bottom for the first time in what feels like forever. Nelson has the help of Gaiman. Sears will have Hauk's help. But they could easily have gone 4 wide there. Wansing was not lined up at all with Gaiman. Gaiman moves to the bottom ahead of Sears. And there's a really good chance that they could junk it up all here before we get to the stage 2 finish. Nelson, once again, sucker hold. No one wants to help him here. He's established himself not a great reputation, not very trustworthy. As far as who's going to be able to stick with him. It's going to be difficult for him to be in that position coming to the actual race finish here later on. 4 to go in stage 2. And now Gaiman's going to be put in the middle 3 wide. Everyone knows how good Gaiman is. They don't want him to get into the round of 8. Leave him to the wolves. If you can. That's what they want to do. Up at the front, Wanzing and Kerr. Shimkowski 3rd. Then Breo, Sears, Houck, Withers, Estes, top 8. 9th, Catania. 10th, Nelson at the moment, but really, anywhere beyond 4th, just pick your favorite, because they are door-to-door, 3 wide. Sears, with help from Estes, trying to get to the front. It's the Toyota squad, trying to make their way forward. Smeal thought about jumping in. Then thought better of it. Will stay on the bottom. 3 cars. Very powerful 3 cars. Smeal moves up now. He'll slide it behind Gaiman. 3 to go in stage 2. And Sears has got a rocket ship behind him. Really good push from Toby Estes. They tandemed out to the front. Can they stay out in the front? They're going to need Gaiman to get back to him. They need that second line to be with them when they do that. Luckily, they accordion pretty well. Sears stays on the outside. Estes stays with them. Gaiman's tucked up right there in 3rd. And they will be 1, 2, 3 at the line. They'll get ahead of Seth Wanzing on the inside lane. 2 to go, stage 2. John Smeal up in 4th. He's sitting here wishing that Talladega was in the round of 16. Smeal moves to the bottom. He'll move to his teammate. Sideswipes prefer being on the inside line to get organized. But they're coming to the white flag when they get to the line this time. Is that enough time to be organized and ready to go, knowing how much momentum that outside line has? Davey Howell could probably abandon the outside line, so will Miles Nelson. But you've got 3 really fast cars leading that outside line at the moment, and they are not going anywhere. Davey Houck will stay with them at the moment. Will Nelson stay with them? We know if Davey goes, so will Nelson. Exactly like that. Nelson actually double thinks about it. He will not help Davey Houck. And Davey's going to try to go back up to the top lane. That's not going to work. Now he's stuck. He's made his bed. He's at the lay in it. Inside lane has nothing for it. Whatever happens, now it's the outside line. 3 cars in a line. Can you beat Sears, Estes, and Gaiman? Nelson goes to the bottom. He tries a side draft. Nelson's got a lot of moxie, I'll give him that. But he's got no help. Estes has got to go for the stage win here. So does Gaiman, really. Don't really blame anyone for going for it. But it's going to be Tom Sears. Sears wins stage 2. Sears won stage 1. Sears won stage 2. Can he win the race? We have 34 laps to figure that out. And that was a way cleaner finish to stage 2. We're in for a shootout in stage 3, folks. This is going to be a lot of fun. Sears, Gaiman, and then I believe Toby Estes. Tom Sears really is going for the weekend sweep out here at Talladega, looking for that Talladega trouble. He won the summer race here back in June. Looking to win the fall race as well. What are the points like now? I couldn't tell you. We do not have live points. And I'm not about to do mental math. I failed math twice. And yes, I just admitted that to 11 people watching the stream. . that was a wild finish to stage 2. That was absolutely phenomenal. I need this for like 39 weekends next year. Inject that into my veins, please. They're all going to come down pit lane, fill up with tires and fuel. Moldy. I thought the admins were supposed to always know the points instantly. I'm not an admin for the series. I just broadcasted. So I am immune from that. I can ignore the points with total impunity. Also, I don't remember the full rundown for stage 1, so I couldn't even help you with points if I wanted to. I know there's a couple drivers that are going to be in really big trouble that are sort of in a win that are in a must-win situation to get into the round of 8. For the 10 playoff drivers still in the race. Really, it's the 9. The 9 playoff drivers still in this race. It is a big deal. Whoa! What happened here? Everyone checked up. What happened here? Was that that was Alexander? It was Alexander. Something happened to Alexander. Something happened to Jason Alexander. We're trying to figure out what happened here. Whoa. What happened to Alexander here? This is why everyone checked up. Everyone was coming out of pit lane. And he just comes to a sudden stop. I'm not sure what happened here. This is strange. But this is why everyone came to a sudden stop. Yeah, everyone's gonna like those that had to go across the yellow line. They're gonna need their penalties clear for that. Something broke. There was a technical failure on the 53 of Alexander. Alrighty, 1 to go until we start stage number 3. It's Breo and Nelson leading the field of the green flag. So Breo, Nelson, Smeal, and Shimkowski top 4. Sears 5th. Estes 6th. As you get ready for this restart. Alrighty. Gonna be an interesting stage 3. This is where all the marbles are at. pace car will pull in. Leaders have to wait until they get to the Geico restart zone. Patrick Allen just had the reset. To the Geico restart zone, here we go. Green flag in the air, and away we go. And that was a really good restart by Breo and Smeal. They're going to clear Nelson. And Nelson got a pretty decent restart. The team sideswipe duo just had it really well choreographed there. Having teammates helps out a lot. Shimkowski now leading the outside line. 3 cars there, now 2 cars. Miles Nelson trying to go for the race lead. Calling it now, 0-0's going to wreck somebody. He's been aggressive all race, but he's been consistent, and he's largely gotten away with it. The question is, can he keep getting away with it? That's the big question. Coming to 30 to go. 1 guaranteed pit stop in this stage. It is a fuel-required stop, so you can go without taking tires if you so choose. I'm assuming under these stage cautions that they've been taking tires, so you can make that work. Nelson leading the outside line. Breo leading the inside lane. As they come down the back straightaway out of turn 2, down the Alabama super stretch. Or the Alabama gang super stretch, I guess is what it's named now. Inside lane beginning to prevail. It's Nelson, Shimkowski, then Breo on that inside. Shimkowski and Breo working together. Shimkowski leads the lap. Team sideswipe, 1, 2, 3. Estes 4th. They all got around Nelson. Wansing slots the inside lane. That checked up a little bit on the cars behind. Tom Sears moves the outside lane. Keep an eye on that 14. He's been doing this all race long. The team sideswipe cars, they've not been able to fend him off. They need to figure that out in a hurry if they want to try to win this race later on. Catania helping Sears. Catania is not the most confident pusher we've seen so far today. And it's showing a little bit here. Does not want to really get right to the bumper of Sears, even though that's what you need to do. You need to slam and push to really make up that ground. You can't rely on the leaders checking up, because eventually, especially the front couple cars, they won't check up. They'll just keep pushing. Especially when you have teammates like that. When you have teammates like Shimkowski and Breo leading that inside line, you need to be slamming the car in front of you to try to get that momentum. You try to force that momentum to happen. Like, that's where you try to force an accordion in the top of the field. Because each slam, although it's going to hurt the car in second, it's going to push that car ahead a tremendous amount. It builds that momentum forward. Patrick Allen decided that he was going to park it. Heard thunder and lightning. Decided not to risk it. Very appreciated. It's one of those things where if you sneeze here, it could be a mistake. Let alone if a power outage takes your car out of contention. And the net code that comes with that could be a disaster. So, a bit of heroic there from Patrick Allen. We appreciate putting safety of the drivers still in the playoff hunt into consideration. Estes leading that outside line. There's a big gap between Sears and Catania. Outside lane goes to the top. They left Smeal hanging out high and dry, but also doesn't let Nelson do much. Roberts made sure that Nelson stayed on the bottom. Nelson tried moving up, and Roberts doored him. Sears back up top. We'll see what he can do. Sears has shown that he's comfortable doing whatever it takes to win. Across all of ARC's major series, Tom Sears has the most plate wins in 2022. Can he add one more to that collection? Got a little bit of work to do, but still 25 laps to go and a pit stop left in this race. He won stage 1 and stage 2. Can he win to where it matters the most? Wansing blinking in the back. That's why he's sitting in the back. He's trying to sit out of the way while everything figures itself out. Again, putting safety of all of those involved first. Blanchard's going to slot in front of him. A little bit of communication there. Seth kind of just sits and waits. A lot of communication between the drivers on issues like that. Safety does come paramount. Everyone wants to win this race. But everyone also making sure that this race has as many green flag laps as possible. Shimkowski to the lead. Roberts on the outside line, trying to lead that outside line. Tom Sears, will he help Brynn Roberts? He will not. Sears moves to the outside lane. Catania is also in the outside lane. Does Sears help him or does he zigzag? He will help Catania. Can Catania get to the front? That is, Estes moved to the front as well. Takes that out of Sears' hands. But the Arcatrar are working together here. Andrews also in that number 2, that black number 2. Fourth in line on the outside lane. See if that outside lane can get going. Dustin Painter, 5th in line on the bottom. He's back in the top 10. Nick Fisher, I want to see Grudge check out as a fan, but as a driver, nah. So far, it's been really good. This has been a phenomenal plate race so far. By anyone's standards. Only one caution for contact. Everyone involved used their quick repair and got back going. Which was phenomenal to see. So, everyone's still on fairly level footing. Alexander out of this race after an issue mechanical-wise. Allen due to electronical circumstances. James Kerr 1 lap down. I believe he may have a penalty to serve because he went a lap down early on, but he's the only car a lap down, so he will get a lucky dog if a caution comes out within the last 23 laps. 22 to go. Withers beginning to make a move. He sat back all of stage 1 and 2. He is still in playoff contention. A race win moves him into the round of 12. That could be an underdog story there. Between him and Bradley Wright. A little bit of a block there. Painter and Estes. Painter back to the bottom, Estes up top. And that was Roberts and Blankenship in the middle lane. Teamwork makes the dream work. However, there's a little bit of a mismatch between the teams up in the top 2. It's Outlaw leading, as they did at Talladega in June, and Sideswipe sitting second, as they also were in June. Painter leading. 21 to go. 3 lines. All of them have some momentum to them. Inside lane, typically not where you want to be in a 3-wide situation. It's either the wall or the yellow line is where you're going to want to be. Breo doing a really good job straddling that dotted line. Making the move wherever he needs to go. He's got Brent Roberts with him, and they've cleared the inside lane. They do not want to move down. Breo now has challenge from Roberts. Roberts has Davey Houck behind him. Estes on the top lane as well. Tom Sears in 4th on the outside lane. Roberts leads this lap. Breo 3rd behind Davey Houck. And they almost walled Tom Sears. That would have not gone down pleasant. Starting to get a little bit racy. Everyone jockeying for position before the last pit stop. Roberts cannot sit and straddle that white line. He has to make a move. He blocks the outside lane, but that's a late move. And it allows the inside line to use their momentum to take the lead right back. Brynn Roberts very indecisive on that, and it costs the outside lane dearly. And it's going to do a lot of damage as far as, like, if Roberts wants to win this race later on. He's only got one teammate that'll surefire help him, and that's Jacob Blankenship. Breo leads over Dustin Painter. Then it's almost 3 wide for third. Outside lane, Estes and Sears. Shimkowski and Roberts. Roberts again indecisive as if he wants to go to the top lane or not. You do not want to give Estes and Tom Sears, 2 bona fide race winners this season, a chance to take space. On the same hand, I understand where Roberts is coming from. You move to the outside, you're going to get fed a dummy. They'll just move to the bottom. They'll move to the middle. Shimkowski will lead this lap. 18 laps to go. But still, 1 pit stop left to play. When will they start pitting? Right now, really, the pit window's open now. I don't expect anyone to pit before they have to. So really, you're looking within 11 and 9 to go. That's really the window that I think everyone's going to pit within. But we could see some surprises. Some people would like to pit early and try to use that time to really make something happen. But it kind of depends on who pits early and who doesn't, because you need a lot of drivers to make it happen. So technically, you've got one line that pits, and then the other line will respond a lap later. Is typically how this is going to go. No one wants to really be really crafty and brave here. Because if no one's on that strategy or no one thinks that that's going to work, they're not going to go with you. And you'll kind of be just kind of sit and duck alone. So I think within the next 6-7 laps is when pit stops will really kind of kick in. Right now, Roberts leads. It's Estes and Sears at the top of the field. Shimkowski leading the inside lane, but the outside lane now with all the momentum. Team sideswipe teammates, though, on the bottom. Do not count out Shimkowski and Breo. They've been hooked up plenty this race. If there's ever any rust as far as figuring out how you're going to handle the high banks of Talladega, they figured it out because they've been up front more often than not. Inside line, you got Painter, you got Smeal, you've got Nelson, 5th in line on the bottom. Top 4 pretty well and truly have it figured out as well. From Roberts all the way to Thomas Andrews at number 2. Davey Houck also pretty well in the mix. And you have Tristan Catania, who could pluck one out of thin air if he needs to. Outside lane has picked up and left. Catania moved to the bottom. So did Houck. So did Sears. So did Andrews. Roberts left out to dry. Tom Sears will lead us coming to 15 laps to go. Andrews second, Roberts third across the line. Davey Houck will take third going into turn 1. There's pit stop. Pit stop with 15 to go. A lot of drivers came down pit lane. All of the team's sideswipe cars came down pit lane. That's Shimkowski, Breo, Smeal, and Wanting, as well as Brewster, Wright, Gaiman, And yeah, that would be it for them. We haven't said anything about Mark Brewster at all. He's sort of been sitting there chilling. He's sort of chillaxing. The pit stops have started a couple laps early here. Which means that all of these drivers need to respond. But it's a pretty even split of cars. A little bit more in this group than the last group. Honestly, that could be a little more of a danger than anything else. Everyone fans out, trying to make sure you get the pit speed as close as possible. It's so challenging pitting under green here. But everyone does pit. Everyone coming down pit lane. Gaming the first one out. There's Mark Brewster. He's kind of all on his own now. Not a fast pit stop by him. See what we can do here. Right on board with Jimkowski. Let's get the roof cam on board. Oh, there's a car spun. It's Kerr. Kerr is spun. Coming out of pit lane. Everyone getting back up to speed, but teammates working together here. Wanzing right behind, I believe Smeal's right behind them. Yeah, it's a 4-car train, it's sideswept cars. They are moving. But it's the 1M8 teammates. Roberts and Blankenship, 1, 2, 3. That's the gap between the top 3 and the rest of the field. With 12 to go. They cannot stray away from this strategy at all. Roberts is not in pit lane. We're looking at him right now. A little bit goofy on the scoreboard, and they're about to race it out for 4th. Which one's worse in your opinion, Daytona or Dega Pit Road? I think it's honestly Dega. Honestly, with Talladega, everyone fans out a lot more. The pit lane, the funneling to pit lane's a lot wider at Talladega than what it is at Daytona. So you try to get like 4 or 5 lanes of cars all slowing down at different rates to kind of funnel into 2 different lanes. And it can be a disaster. Plus, Daytona's a lot smoother. Daytona's a lot better as far as like the paving down there. It's not as bumpy. Has 1MA Racing pulled off a heist of the century? If I'm not mistaken, they finished 1-2 last week. Let me double check on that because I could be mistaken. But I believe they finished 1-2 last week, and they had the ability to do it again tonight. This would be a bit interesting. Yeah, it was Roberts and Blankenship last week. In this order. It's in Tobias's interest to sit and stay, but it's a 2-on-1 situation in this top 3. He's not going to win. Roberts is leading. What Blankenship's been doing, he's been breathing the throttle going into the corner. You see him kind of pull away and separate. He's going to pull up half a lane, get some air to that radiator. He's going to sit like that, and then he's going to get right back to the bumper of Roberts and just stay hooked to heel and toe. And it works phenomenally, especially when you have the chemistry that these two have. We've seen the chemistry they have between... You see the chemistry between these two in the arcs. You see the chemistry between these two here. They are phenomenal at what they do. Oh, Tom Sears is out. Tom Sears, motor blown. The stage 1 and 2 race winner will not win here at Talladega. That takes out one of the favorites. Morty's thinking, Davey's going to gain on it. No, they've lost half a second this lap. Why is it that they've lost so much time? This is why. This is exactly why. No one wants to help Davey anymore. Team Sideswipe to the rescue, trying to help this thing out. They're going to get around Davey Halk. They've got 8 laps. They've got 8 whole laps to do something. Dustin Painter going a lap down. He's going to tag in right here. For those confused, teammates here is Blankenship and Roberts, the 58 and the 85. They're both in 4s, they're both in yellow. Toby Estes, the Bluegrass Bandits. He's the leading car there. Out of 2, well, 3 in this race. Davey Halk just got dispatched as leading that second group. 7 to go. These teammates are working together. They need to make sure that there is not a chance that that second group catches them. The only thing that undoes this is a caution. But if you throw a caution intentionally, you get banned for it. We've seen it happen to places like Sonoma. Sonoma sticks out in a lot of people's heads. Race manipulation gets you permanently banned. So don't do it. However, everyone's racing hard, knowing that if they race hard enough, a caution will just inadvertently happen because no one can keep it perfect for 94 laps. They have begun to gain a little bit of time back, but they're still 4 seconds adrift with 6 laps to go. If you're wondering how much time they have to gain in 6 laps, it's 0.75 seconds per lap. That's a lot of time. Also, how can I do that math, but not math in school? So here's why Estes isn't really bothered by this. Blankenship and Estes gain monumentally in the points here. Now, granted, it'd be really nice to be locked into the points here, being locked into the round of 8 here. Blankenship's almost a surefire lock. Estes is consistent enough to where he's not going to have a problem at the Roval. 5 to go, 3.9, 4 seconds still the gap. They need to now gain a lot more time per lap, and they're not going to do it. There isn't a really big way for Estes to, like, especially now you have lap cars in the way. Sears is 1 lap down. You need to gain a second a lap in order to have a chance at this top 3, who are now encountering lap traffic, which is helping their speed. Four laps to go. They need to gain 1.25 seconds for the next 3 laps just to be in drafting distance. You can't do that without the top 3 battling, and they're not. Estes is checking up a little bit. He's trying to get a little bit of a run. He's trying to test how much of a run he can get. The big difference is side draft. All Blankenship has to do is move up and side draft Estes and pull him back. All he has to do. And it's ball game. They're all going to get around this lap car here. That's James Kerr. He'll go 2 laps down. They've only gained 0.2 this lap. It is the top 3 battling for this race win. Trust me, I've won 14 of these races before. I kind of know the timing you need to have here. They're not coordinated in the back. You can see how wavy they are coming out of turn 2. There's nothing. They are battling for 4th place. That is Mark Brewster, excuse me, in the 62. And now there's a pack. Now, Estes couldn't get help. They easily could get help here. You're 100% right. They could get help. 2 to go, though. It's back to 3.8. Like, it's opportunities like those that you need to have been hooked up and ready for, because that's where you really gain that time. They gained half a second there, because they had to kind of check up and split up a little bit. But now, you can't do that. It's opportunities like that you've squandered. So now we're coming to the white flag. It's been a clinical race by 1MA Racing, their teammates. It's Roberts and Blankenship. Roberts won last week. Roberts trying to go 2 for 2. He's been denied so many times this season. Blankenship's already got 5 wins this season. 1 lap to go. White flag in the air. Whatever happens at this point, happens. Blankenship's objective is just don't let Toby Estes win. It's a 2-on-1 challenge. The lap cars not in contention. They are not in the conversation in the slightest. 4 seconds is the gap. Miles Nelson currently battling for that top 5. Blankenship's taking points. He's thinking, don't let Toby win. Don't let Toby win. Toby has no choice. Toby has very little say in this conversation. Blankenship feeds Brynn the dummy. Side by side across the line. Blankenship did get it. It looked like Blankenship was going to go to the outside. Roberts went to fend it. I don't know if Blankenship was trying to block from Estes. But Blankenship did get the win. Szymkowski got 4th. Nelson got 5th. Teamwork makes the dream work. Keep an eye here on the 74 and this 00. Another 1-2 for 1MA Racing. They've got this figured out. But this time it's Blankenship in victory lane. He locks himself into the round of 8 the hard way. The easy way, I should say. We'll take a look here. We're going to go on board with Blankenship here. Oh, he did feed him. And he bumped him out of the way a little bit there. Yeah, Roberts didn't let up there. We'll go back and look at it, but I don't hear Roberts checking up here. Yeah, he just tries to block because he thinks Blankenship's going up high. Yeah, he doesn't let up at all. I want to see it from Toby's perspective. I want to see if Toby tried to fade a move. I don't think he did, but... yeah, he was just kind of following whoever it was. 1-2. Great job all around for that team. Had a really good September and having a fantastic start to October. That was phenomenal. So it's Blankenship, Roberts, Estes, top 3. Szymkowski 4th, Nelson 5th. Well, so here's the thing. Wouldn't blame him for dragging and laying up to let Blankenship get it. Here's the thing. You can't do that. It's against the rules to deliberately let off the throttle to let somebody win. It's against the rules, and they know that. You have to race it out. And they did race it out. Roberts got this one. I'm sorry, Roberts got last week. Blankenship got this one. And both times they raced it out. So really good job by both of them for 2 weeks in a row to get that race win. And I agree with Tom Sears. Jacob Blankenship needs to do an interview at some point. 100% he needs to do an interview at some point. Alrighty. We're going to start with Toby Estes, their third place driver here. Tonight, we're going to talk to him first. Toby, this is Clayton from the RX Racing booth. You got a copy, man?
Sure do. What's up?
Alrighty, P3 there. Really good points haul this afternoon at a race that was very, very, very clean. Very pleased with how this race went. Obviously, it helps you out tremendously in the points entering this race. You were below the playoff cut line just a little bit. Now you're significantly ahead of that playoff cut line. How much better do you think this race could have gone today, knowing that it was really a three-car battle there after that last pit stop?
For me personally, I mean, I was kind of all in because I knew I had, to make up quite a bit of points. But I mean, I was surprised that the three of us actually stayed out front. I thought for sure the pack behind us was going to catch us. I don't know if they got racy or what happened, but from my end, I'm really pleased with how the race went today.
Yeah, it did a phenomenal job for you as far as the points go. Obviously, you entered today 2 points out of the playoff cut line. Now you're almost safely in with the Roval next week. You're not a bad road course driver at all, by any stretch of the imagination. From the danger zone to almost a pretty surefire way to get into the playoffs here, at least into the round of 8. How much of a relief does that kind of take off your shoulders, and how much do you kind of just breeze the Roval here and be like, okay, now we're in championship contention mode?
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot better. A win would have made me feel a whole lot better. But hopefully next week, I'm pretty comfortable at the Roval. I mean, it's actually a really hard place to pass. So
Yeah.
just gotta stay clean and finish the race. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, obviously looking at the schedule, you got the Roval next week, then Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. Those are at least 2 of those 3 tracks that you have a really good track record at. Looking towards the next few races, it's been a while since you've won. You haven't won really since I have to look back to see the last time you did win a race. It's been a while since you've won. You've been in contention so many times to win a race. But it hasn't really come together. Looking at it, you're starting to kind of get hot again at the right time. You haven't really seen it. Charlotte was the last race you won. That was back in May when you won 2 in a row there. So, looking at it, mile and a half seem to be treating you pretty well. Of those mile and a halves, Vegas and Homestead, which one kind of sticks out to you more as like the track where you kind of break back into the win column here?
I'm hoping Vegas, honestly. Like you said, I'm kind of on a cold streak as far as wins. I was there for a while, just running pretty relaxed and not aggressive. But now that it's time to be aggressive, so I'm hoping you'll see a lot more out of me. With the next few races to come, because I need a win. I'm hungry for a win for sure.
Yeah, it showed tonight. You got obviously the relaxed composure helped a lot tonight, getting you into the top three and really separating you from everybody else. When everyone else kind of was mired with the a lot of the playoff spoilers there this evening. But yeah, now seeing that relaxed you is already getting like top fives, top threes. I'm interested to see what championship contending Toby's going to look like here in the next couple races here. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing what you can do with the number 19, which looked really slick in that red and black tonight.
Appreciate it.
It's not a problem at all. Before we let you go, obviously, a very competitive race. Teamwork makes the dream work, even though Briley kind of got mired back in the pack there. Just different strategy calls there kind of put everyone in a different footing. But if there's anyone to shout out, man, again, congrats on another podium here. If there's anyone to shout out or say thank you to, the floor is yours, Toby. Congrats on a P3. You're now a lot safer in that round of 8 conversation.
Yes, sir. Shout out to you, like always. Man, you do a great job, and I'm glad to have you with us for the rest of the season. That's awesome. So shout out to my teammates. We tried our best to work together tonight, but like you said, Briley just had some bad luck, and then of course on that last pit stop, Davey got loose coming out of the pits, I think, so it kind of pushed him back. But shout out to all the admins. I mean, everybody involved in those rows. They do one heck of a job. So shout out to them.
Well, Toby, again, congrats on the podium, the P3 here at Talladega. Once again, really good plate racing finish here for the number 19. Toby, go get him in Charlotte. Let's see what you can do. You got to chase down the 61 next week.
Yeah, well, the 61 and the 85, they'll both probably be pretty quick.
Yeah, the 81's going to be quick, but if you can chase them down, be one absolute hell of a showcase there, Toby. Go get them. We'll be watching you next week. Good luck with it.
Yep, thank you.
That was Toby, our third place finisher here tonight. Obviously for him, he kind of realized best case scenario. Especially knowing that Jimkowski and Nelson took points away from Wanzing, Withers, and Gaiman. That helped him out pretty well as well. And then obviously Davey Howe, Kornbrink, Catania, Smeal taking points away from Andrews and Wright and Sears. Sears suffering that blown engine there late on in the race, taking him out of contention. That almost puts him in danger there a little bit. Next up, we're not going to get an interview from Blankenship because, of course, we're not. We will talk, however, to the 58 of Brynn Roberts, who finished second there. He won last week, second place tonight, another 1-2 finish for 1MA Racing. Brynn, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, Clayton.
Alrighty, another 1-2 for the team. You worked together all race long. Even when you were separated, you didn't stay separated for long. And it kind of came down to the perfect situation for the team there, where it was you, Blankenship, and Toby there. Kind of just walk us through those last few laps once you kind of realize that, yeah, it's just us.
I kept telling Jacob, let's not do anything to cost us the win, not give Toby a run. So I kept saying, let's not make a move, or him not make a move until too late. And I tried to cover him off by taking the second lane because I knew the side draft was more powerful on the right side than the left side. And I just choked because I didn't get down far enough.
Yeah, like that's one thing I kind of noticed. Like it looked like Jacob looked like he was going to feign to the right. We kind of looked at it there afterwards. It was like, that was an interesting blocking attempt there. Obviously, like you were looking for 2 in a row there. After a season that you sort of jumped in mid-season and for tonight's time after time after time. I said this last week, and it kind of doubles down now. Now that your team's kind of found your footing, both you and Jacob are finding victory lane. You're finding these podiums consistently, and as a team, how does that sort of come together, really? And, looking at it, you got the Roval next week, which I think is going to be a completely different competition, a completely different challenge. But, looking at how this team's progressed from when both of you kind of joined in, Jacob was here from the start almost, but then you jumped in and you were kind of getting through the ropes. And now both of you are on the same plane of, okay, we're contending for race wins across the board. Doesn't matter if it's Indy, doesn't matter if it's A squared. Now we're just here. With the draft coming up as well, where teams are going to be able to pick drivers here. What does that say about how good your team chemistry is with Jacob, and what that looks like for the last 5 races of the season as Jacob goes for a championship and as you kind of just go to play spoiler for everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 races we're just gonna have different philosophies. I mean, I'm just there to win, and he's there to gather up as many points and go for the title. Um, I'll try to help him in any way I can, but when I'm on the track, I'm gonna take whatever I can, and that includes from him. So, and I wish I would have gotten the win today, but I freaking choked. I didn't get down and side draft him.
Yeah, it's impressive seeing how much the turnaround of this team has been over the last couple races. Obviously, he's not going to be doing an interview. At this point, I need to figure out if he has a Twitter. I'm going to just start pinging him every race. But the team's done a phenomenal job. Both you and him have done absolutely outstanding work as far as like coming in at the right time and just turning on the Jets. Obviously, Jacobs, he's the regular season champion for a reason. But now you're coming in like, okay, yeah, I can do that too, by the way. Don't ignore me. Just kind of sitting there, you're starting to grab people's attention. The teams are like, okay, looking at the drafts. Brynn's somebody that I think we should probably look at here. Looking forward, not only through this year, because obviously you're kind of playing just spoiler, but going into next year, now it's like, okay, Brynn could be a championship contender here. Is that something you sort of like, okay, is there sort of like that confidence, like, okay, yeah, I can win races, I can do the same thing he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, I totally think I can do the same thing he's doing. My approach would be different next year, not going out and trying to win all the time, like I give up a lot of stage points just to try to be there at the end, put myself in the best position possible. So, I mean, if a team drafts me next year, I think I'd be a top contender for the regular season title and then for the championship 4. Obviously I didn't join early enough to be in position for that this year, but I think I've shown that I can win and I can be consistent.
I think absolutely consistent has been like the key word there. You've been a consistent threat, whether or not it's failure rate or not. You've been consistently up at the front. We've been saying, hey, look at the 58, look at Brynn Roberts, and it's across the board. You're very versatile in both the stock cars and an open wheel as well. It's been exciting seeing how you've emerged really on the scene across ARCs as a whole. It's just absolutely wonderful to see finally the luck's turning around and you're starting to really be able to show what we've known on Wednesday nights all along, but that you are a contender here. And it's amazing to see. And obviously less than milliseconds, away from a race win here tonight. So congrats on that second place there. Again, 1-2 for the team. Brent, obviously Jacob's not here, but if there's anyone you want to shout out for your team, 1MA Racing, another 1-2 in a row. Starting to get up there with sideswipe and outlaw levels of achievements there. So if there's anyone to shout out, the floor is yours, man. Congrats on another second place, another 1-2 for the team.
I just want to shout out Jared and Jacob. I'm glad we held on for the 1-2. I wish I was the 1 in that 1-2, but unfortunately I'm the 2. But I'm just glad that we held on right there and didn't let Toby get by us.
Yeah, it was really good teamwork all the way through there, especially when it mattered the most for that race win. Brynn, obviously we don't get to see you on Wednesday night because we're off on Wednesday nights, but next week we get to go to the Roval. I know you're pretty well versatile on those Rovals too. You're not a bad road course ace, despite what you might think. So I can't wait to see what you all put together next week at Charlotte.
All right, thank you, sir.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
That was Brent Roberts, our second place finisher here tonight. Obviously, as we mentioned, Jacob Blankenship, he's allergic to the microphone, at least when it matters. He'll jump into the party at any point when there's not a camera rolling. I'm so going to keep nagging him for it. But he's a race winner for the 6th time this season, this time at Talladega. Really good job by both drivers for 1MA Racing, making a huge case for both of them to be first-round picks in the 2023 draft going on next year. Gonna be a lot of fun. Before we let you go, here's the full rundown of the race results here for the Alabama 250 for the Darkside Mustangs A2 Cup Series. Jacob Blankenship, Brynn Roberts, 1-2. for the team. Brynn Roberts, second place behind Jacob Blankenship. Excuse me. Toby Estes, third place ahead of Alex Szymkowski. Second group just never got put together. Szymkowski and Nelson finishing out the top 5 ahead of Seth Wanzing. Tommy Withers with a really good run to get into the top 10 when it mattered. Josh Gaiman 8th, Breo 9th. Davey Halkel finished 10th in his first race back in quite some time. Welcome back, Davey. Welcome back to the top 10 as well. Jonathan Homebrink just barely missed out on the top 10, finished 11th. Although he was almost a lap down, lost the draft due to the last pit stop cycle. Same with Tristan Catania. Last car on the lead lap for Prophecy Racing. Season finish, 12th. A good old dozen in the top 12 there. Thomas Andrews, 13th. First car lap down, same with John Smeal and Bradley Wright. Mark Brewster, 16th, went a lap down there with the leaders and the closing laps. And Dustin Painter, 17th. Bad pit stops there, kind of throwing everything off sequence. It was a very clean race. Only one caution for an accident, and that was in stage number 2. Tom Sears blew his engine, went 2 laps down in this race, kind of kicking himself. He won stage 1 and 2, but only has 18th to show for it at the end of the race. And finishing out, you have James Kerr 19th with 2 laps down as well. Patrick Allen backed out with electrical issues. Jason Alexander with mechanical issues as well. Starting park for Donald Ray and Cody Pennell, as we saw at the beginning of this race. That's going to do it from us at Talladega. Next week, it's the Charlotte Roval. The last race in the round of 12. Who makes it into the round of 12? Who says sayonara to their championship ambitions? We find out in 7 days in North Carolina. For everyone on behalf of ARCS, Darkside Mustangs, Windy Chevrolet, and Midwest Barbecue, I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you at Charlotte. Stay safe, stay healthy, have fun this week. We'll see you next weekend. So long, everybody.